While I spoke about the importance of the discovery of the Higgs boson, I don't think it's any different from other major discoveries that have been made in physics. It has not taken us any closer to understanding deep spiritual questions, and I don't see that in the near future there will be such a convergence, because I don't think that understanding particle physics better will address questions which are in the category of spiritual questions. However, I do think that a science of consciousness is possible, which was not possible 20 years back. And that the direction of that is what may be called cognition or brain studies. And that is a nascent field and is developing. There's an institute in India, NBRC at Manesar, and I believe that physicists and medical people can indeed work together in that field.
Now we'll start with the Brahma Kumaris.
It's the physics, consciousness and health. These are three paradigms we are discussing. When we see the science perspective, the basis of the science is, as they already told, that it's a experience of the five senses. Whatever we experience from five senses comes under the purview of the science, whereas the consciousness itself has not yet been brought under that purview, because consciousness itself is an experience inside. Even consciousness could not be defined by scientists till now, even vaguely defined, not to any extent. So when we come to the consciousness, it comes more into spiritual perspective, because spirituality is about experience rather than proving. When we come to science, we say we have to prove it, but when we come to spirituality, we have to experience it. We have to grow ourselves to understand. So when we come to the consciousness, it comes to the realm of mind, awareness and behavior. And this is where it comes in connection with health, because mind, awareness and behavior modify the health. We can treat the body with materials from the physics point of view, from chemistry point of view, understanding the body chemistry and biology to correct some gross mistakes in the body chemistry. But these are caused by consciousness. These are not caused by material itself, because that is proved, because most of the problems today, medical problems, are due to stress, and stress is related to consciousness. It is not a material problem. There are some problems which come from pollution and all those things, but basically stress is what is creating the problem. So when we deal with stress, it comes to mind, awareness and consciousness. It doesn't depend upon material outside. In this realm, I would like to you to focus on that few phenomena in this world which show that consciousness and material are separate, because science always tries to understand consciousness from material perspective. And these are like near-death experience, which is a clear-death experiments done in near-death experience, where it is proved that the consciousness separates from the body and body is dysfunctional during that time. They are clear, it is ruled out there is any other explanation that consciousness can be born from material, because consciousness of a person dead is not available there.
We are very short of time.
Yeah, okay, I will just shortly come there.
There are a lot of people, so we'll be quick.
Okay.
We'll be very quick.
Yes. And then there is child rebirth experiences, and the experiments, that is studies done by Dr. Anne Stevenson, shows that consciousness has continuity beyond body. And the last
Chawla sir.
Oh, sorry. I am sorry, I would like to sit here because I can't see. It has been a wonderful experience here, and I feel greatly educated and illumined by this wonderful galaxy of informed people, particularly with orientation towards the medical application as it applies to our health. And healthy body always contains a healthy mind, and healthy mind alone can understand the facts as they are and create heaven here on earth. There is no heaven anywhere else. It is here. And as far as consciousness is concerned, our Upanishads, I call them super scientists, these rishis. I am just telling one. There is one Mandukya Upanishad. It says, na antah pragyam na bahish pragyam na ubhayata pragyam na pragyam na cha pragyam. You can't think about the consciousness. The moment your thought advances towards that thought vibration to consciousness, it is beyond vibrations and vibrationlessness. It merges into that. You see, yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha, Mundak Upanishad, where the intelligence and mind and thoughts go to have a dip to understand from where I am arising, and they come back without getting anything. Why? Because our minds, as we get, takes the form of those things. For example, small example, if we think of a very sour almond, this pickles, and with chilies and all that, there will be a slight salivation in our tongue. How it has come? We have heard the thoughts. Thought is being converted into chemicals. Here lies the spirituality, you know. You have to understand that spirituality not only engulfs all this. We say that spirit has left this body. No. We all arise, exist, and finally merge back as to the universe in that spirit or Atman. Atmayeva Atmana. Swayameva Atmana Atmanavit. Only the Atman can know the Atma by Atma.
Thank you, sir. Dr. S.K. Verma, in one line.
Yes, sir. From ophthalmological point of view, to gain super consciousness and health, one has to have inner eye, and for inner eye, one needs healthy outer eyes, which also contains Higgs and bosons.
Thank you. Dr. Kavar, one line.
Excellent presentation all throughout. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Basu?
Well, not much to talk about. I also feel the same way that Higgs boson is Higgs boson. Its discovery has been definitely historical. But let's not bring bring other topics which are not related, because I don't see any direct relationship between the Higgs boson and either consciousness or even healthcare, because physics has definitely contributed to healthcare and we should continue with that.
Dr. B.K. Singh?
Sir, Capra has already mentioned in Tao physics that Western science is basically rationalistic and Eastern science is intuitive. And this conference, I appreciate the effort made by you, E-Medi News, International Center of Spiritual Awakening and Heart Care Foundation, that actually you have tried to make an amalgamation of that, and we have miles to go. I appreciate the effort and we learnt a lot.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh Chandra.
Even simple questions are most difficult to answer. This consciousness question is perhaps relatively much more complexer. The much lesser complexer questions are consciousness, being conscious, being alive. In fact, there are levels of being which are discussed by philosophers: the material level, the conscious level, and the self-conscious level. Now, we should see theories in other disciplines as illustrations of how questions in those disciplines are answered. And if we can be guided as to how to handle our own discipline in understanding the problem of that discipline, that is perhaps the only lesson we can learn. I don't think things apply from one to the other discipline in a ditto manner. Things in physics don't apply to economics. How can things in physics apply directly to medicine?
Thank you. When we talk about, just to talk about again, why we choose this subject was, because I personally feel as a doctor that understanding quantum physics is very, very, very important for us to understand the concept of consciousness, to understand the concept of yoga and meditation. At any given time, in my body, there are 6 trillion cells, and each cell is interconnected to each other and works faster than the speed of light. And I cannot get the answer from a standard model or from any model. Therefore, I need to get certain answers separately. That why come that in my body at the same time, when I have an emotion, my lungs produces some other chemical, the spleen produces some other chemical, my brain is producing some other chemical, and there is no connection between them with each other. So therefore, there has to be a quantum leap. I need to understand the non-local reality. I need to talk about all these things. I need to answer. We also know that, as I started with the twins, that twins behave differently. And we have no answer, because none of the way we can talk about a physical appearance answering the twin theory. In twins, if one twin is hurt, the other one feels. If that is true, which we have seen, which are records that this is possible, then we need to take the help of the physics, the so-called entanglement or so-called spooky action at a distance. Without that, we can't understand. We can't speak about it. We can't understand. My philosophy is that unless we talk, because if those physics principles are correct and they can be translated to health, new medicines can come. I am personally feeling that everywhere when we talk about, say, for example, if I take sodium chloride, if I take a proton, electron, or a boson, or anything of a sodium chloride, will it have a different action? That's my questions. I'm asking these questions is that if I give somebody a sodium chloride as a matter, or if I give only electrons of sodium chloride, what will be the action? If I give only bosons of sodium chloride, what will be the action? I don't know. I'm asking these questions to myself, and that's where homeopathics came and started claiming that we are not matter. All homeopaths claim we are not matter, and we can't. Why there is a fight between homeopaths and allopaths? In fact, all of you were fighting for homeopaths. In fact, we should have been fighting for them. We should have been fighting against them. Ki aap log ghost ho. As an allopath, we should say that homeopathy doesn't exist. And there's a fight going on between homeopaths all over the world. In UK, they say there is no science called homeopathy, because anything which is not demonstrable, anything which cannot be shown is not homeopathy. I personally feel, I learned a lot from this symposium. I personally feel is that it's only a start. More and more of us will meet together, and maybe sometimes from now we will say there is a link between physics and science. All yours, Mr. Mehta sir. And after that, we will just give a mementos to everybody.
In fact, there has always been a connection between physics and medicine. Both are branches of science. Right up to microbiology now, structure of DNA, I don't know where would it fall. Would it fall in the category of a physical discovery? But of course, it is a biological discovery too. But what I want to say is that science is the best tool till date humanity has had to explore the material world. It plays by rules. It wants the questions to be asked in an intelligent way for which it can answer. Till date, what it has taught us is that there is not one single reality. There are layers of reality. As we move along, one more layer is unearthed. We have this gross reality which is given to us by our evolutionary structure, our evolutionary brain. That out of the whole electromagnetic spectrum, our vision is constrained to such a tiny range, is no coincidence. This is how the brain was meant to evolve. But the human mind has deciphered realities beyond this gross reality. Lot has been said about the journey of these unearthing of layers till the string theory says that it's all vibrations in energy. Second important aspect is that everything is a projection of our consciousness. In fact, whatever external projection is happening right now, it's happening all in my brain and all in your brains. That's another miracle. Third is that as external journey by science has led us to different unearthing of layers, there is a subjective internal journey of mind too. You can turn your mind inward, explore different realms of inner reality too. Your consciousness leads you to the deeper and deeper layers of reality. If at all science one day gives an explanation of consciousness, a physical explanation of consciousness, which I am sure it will give one day, that will still remain a physical explanation. That will not be the experience of consciousness. The experience of consciousness, I mean, knowing that, for a poet, knowing that moon is now all rocks, barren rocks, doesn't change the experience of the moonlight. For lovers and for poets. So the internal experience of consciousness would always bring in new internal realities which can calm your mind, which can bring a lot of peace to you. But one fine day when science is able to download my consciousness from me to a machine, I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for that day. And it will happen in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. It's bound to happen. But still that would be my consciousness. I mean, I don't know what kind of an experience it would be. So I'm looking forward to this synergy happening between science and spirituality. As my friend said, spirituality is an experiential realm. Science is a tool of knowledge which deals only with the external world, objective world, material world. So I think we'll now go over to the mementos and finish.
Just before I invite Anuj to just give, but that was, without him this symposium would not have happened. I'll say a couple of small things. That जब भी हमारे शरीर में चोट लगती है तो जो आवाज निकलती है वो वॉवल है. क्यों? Why? I have no answer in allopathy. Whenever my body produces pain, the sound will be produced will be a vowel, and vowel chanting produces interleukin-2, which is like a painkiller. Whenever I chant, whenever I weep, I produce tranquilizers. The weeping sounds are nasal consonants. Ma, na, ga, na, na. This is a weeping sound. Na, ga, these are weeping sounds. And weeping sound produces tranquility of mind. They produce delta activity in the EEG. They produce tranquilizers. So if I chant Om, Om means aspirin, Ma means compose. I'm producing two of them together. That is my body, my consciousness is the process, is the capacity to heal each and every drug. Remember, अगर मैं कोई भी दवाई लेता हूँ, मेरे शरीर में वो बाहर निकल जाएगी अगर मेरे शरीर में उसका रिसेप्टर नहीं है तो. My body, my drug will find a receptor, and that receptor is a lock, and the drug is like a key. The God never created locks in my body for pharmaceutical companies to come and make the keys. The very fact there is a lock in my body, that means there is a key, and that information, where it is lying, I have no answer. And that's what we say, it is lying in consciousness. And if I want to be in touch with my consciousness, I have to go into a parasympathetic state. And we were trying to understand today, can physical model try to answer some of our queries in consciousness? That was our whole purpose. And before I give it to, in any way, being a cardiologist, and somebody said, कि फिजिक्स के और कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट का क्या रोल है. एक रोल है कि हमारे साथ दोस्ती करोगे तो कम से कम हार्ट अटैक नहीं होगा, और हार्ट अटैक से बचना चाहते हो तो फिजिक्स पढ़ो या ना पढ़ो, एक मेरा फार्मूला जरूर याद रखो. वो मेरा फार्मूला ऑफ 80 है कि अगर आप चाहते हो कि 80 साल तक आपको हार्ट अटैक ना हो तो दिल की धड़कन, नीचे का ब्लड प्रेशर, फास्टिंग शुगर, गंदे कोलेस्ट्रॉल की मात्रा और पेट की चौड़ाई सब 80 से कम रखो. इसके लिए रोज 80 मिनट चलो, एक हफ्ते में 80 मिनट तेज चलो। तेज चलने का मतलब है 1 मिनट में 80 कदम। दिन भर में एक बार में 80 ग्राम से ज़्यादा कैलोरिक खाना मत खाओ, 80 ml से ज़्यादा कैलोरिक लिक्विड मत लो, साल में 80 दिन अनाज मत खाओ, 80 डेसिबल से ज़्यादा नॉइस पोल्यूशन में ना रहो, 80 साइकिल प्राणायाम की करो, सिगरेट ना पियो 80,000 का खर्चा हो जाएगा, शराब ना पियो तो 80 ml से कम, एक हफ्ते में 80 ग्राम से कम अगर आपने शराब पीनी है। हंसो दिन भर के अंदर में आप 80 मिनट अपने आप को दो। और आखिर में जब डॉक्टर अनुज सिन्हा एंड मेहता साहब जिन्होंने आज उसको मेरे साथ में मॉडरेट किया, जितनी गलतियां हो वो मेरे लिए और जो अच्छाइयां हो इन दोनों के लिए बाद में 80 बार तालियां जरूर बजाएं। अनुज ऑल योर्स।
Thank you. Actually, after Dr. Aggarwal has the platform, anybody else speaking looks very, very pale because he is a fantastic communicator. I would like to say just two things. One, that for the past many years I have been working in the area of the method of science and promoting that as the measure for scientific temper. And therefore this symposium was very interesting because here we were going beyond the method of science. We were looking at the work which colleagues of Dr. Datta and Amitabh Mukherjee and Chinmay Ghosh etc. have been doing, and the very eminent predecessors all over Europe and the US. That's very, very interesting, and yet we are trying to see whether we can go beyond the method of science. And therefore, I think one lesson that we draw is that we need to have more such platforms where we are able to reach out beyond our formal learnings and our backgrounds, which essentially are Western based, and we actually tend to become narrower and narrower in our areas of interest and areas of specialization. Whereas the thought process, which I think philosophers try to tell us, and what Indian thought process was, where we are trying to be more encompassing and trying to take in more specializations from other areas. And I think this platform therefore is very, very interesting. I think it's a good beginning and we should have more of this. The other is that which was pointed out by several of you, the eminent panelists, that 95% or 96% of the universe is still unknown, and that tells us that we are very, very ignorant just now. And if that's the place where we are, then I think we need to have our all our sensory organs open to be able to appreciate that and things beyond the sensory organs. A third interesting observation is not mine, which I read was, well, whereas we are all the time debating whether the best theory just now about the origin of universe is the Big Bang, how will it really end? How will the universe really collapse? And the answer was it will go with the Gib Nab, which is the opposite of Big Bang. I would like to thank the International Center for Spiritual Awakening, the Heart Care Foundation, the eMedinews, who made this all possible.